Once more, Blizzard Entertainment are in the headlines. Today, we're going to bring you the reason why they're in the headlines, as well as how this has actually went down in the past, because this is but the most recent time that we've seen this go on. And this is, of course, surrounding Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is a premium game. We will be purchasing it for, real full price. But, of course, Diablo 4 is being pitched as a different consumer experience to what you may expect. One where, of course, you will have the additional opportunity to participate in future net bookings for Blizzard's bottom line. So obviously microtransactions. I mean, me and Matt, we of course come from another Blizzard game, World of Warcraft, and let me tell you, cosmetic in World of Warcraft, a mount. A cosmetic mount, that will cost $25. That's more than, say, most indie games that take a year and a half of development will cost on Steam. And they can just sell you a mount for that. So you're damn sure that this is the sort of thing that we're going to see in Diablo 4. This is obviously, that was far more of a story because of Diablo Immortal, and all of its bullshit. So, how far will they go with this? That is people's question. And we know all of this because Activision Blizzard have sent out a survey, which has combined with some leaky stuff from the Friends and Family Alpha, and that's basically got fans rather on edge. We've got details of potential pre-order packages, and also the survey asking fans how they felt about these packages, the rewards beyond the base game. This actually came from a German survey, and the way that these surveys work is that they do say, keep this confidential.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird that they say that.
So it is a little bit kind of, keep this confidential, but no one cares, and that's why we keep seeing them, which is good because we get to see, where they're getting their data from, what kind of data they're looking for. And especially, we definitely found some things out about how they actually look for surveys and stuff and what types of methodology they use. So we can actually look at this and go, we have a fairly sure idea of, well, it obviously depends on what people's responses are, but we look at this, we say, oh, we know what's going to happen. We know what the end result of these surveys will look like.
So the survey is describing pre-order packages that range between 40 and 150 euro. Now, a funny thing there is, regional pricing, and that is where you can get some help with today's sponsor, NordVPN.com/Bellular News, and it's available at my link with 4 months for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. They've even got a new bundle that includes NordPass, and NordPass will handle your passwords. Now, not only is that extremely convenient, but it also helps protect you against things like, say, credential stuffing attacks, which you don't want. Of course, a VPN offers loads of protection as well, as an example, encrypting your traffic, and that hinders things like man-in-the-middle of attacks, keeping you safe. Of course, you can also browse the internet as if you're anywhere on Earth, allowing you to bypass regionally locked content, and even sometimes save some money via regional pricing differences. If you're on a holiday and you need a rental car, you can VPN back to your home country, book it, and there's a good chance that doing that will bypass you being basically price gouged. That's all in the app and browser extension that are super easy to use, and you'll get a bonus 4 free months with my offer at nordvpn.com/Bellular News, and of course, 30-day money-back guarantee. So, thanks to Nord for keeping the show going. Let's go. So what these packages would come with include armor skins with unlimited repeat usage, which is actually a funny little thing to bring up given that some of the cosmetic skins in Diablo Immortal don't actually operate like that. That's just how bizarre and wacky they were.
Yeah, that's kind of of course they can be used any number of times. You're buying them. You're buying armor skins. Is there a world where this would be, consumable? And then you look at some other games that have had consumable armor sales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even FF14 sells dyes that are consumable, and they only have this is tied to one character, which works for that game, but it's still this is a digital thing. Why can't I just have it forever?
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. Now, what's great here is Bellasaurus Roar, a Redditor, has actually translated this, which is why you see the overlay here. So we have 80 euro, 75 euro, 109 euro. Right. Different things that include the armor skin. We've got a rideable creature that lets you move around the world faster than unlocks after completing the campaign. We've got, a mount armor. We've got a back ornament. We then have platinum, the in-game currency that can be used to purchase current and future cosmetics in the in-game shop. Now, it is either including €15 worth of platinum or €20 worth of platinum. Then, of course, in addition to platinum, we also have the Battle Pass. So, access to the Battle Pass with premium rewards for playing, which are cosmetic only. Here's one example of the $80 one. Indeed, including the Battle Pass. Wow! Fantastic. What a deal! And then also, early access. Now, this is one of my favorite tricks that they do. So, a game like Diablo, I mean, you're going to have that FOMO.
Yeah.
If you're not playing, because like this is a short game, you go in and it's like let's go, let's start grinding.
It's not even like just that. It's like this is kind of, because you could say that for kind of the grindy sort of keep up with the Joneses kind of game, but even like a full Diablo game is such a major release in terms of like the culture of the game.
Yeah,
it's full of the culture of the gaming industry and gaming culture. It's like when was Diablo 3? 2012. Mm-hmm. So there you go. This is like a once in a decade event. You'll want to be more than a decade by then. You'll want to be in on this early when everyone else is. You don't want to be behind everyone else in the zeitgeist. So that's how they get you to fire a load of money at them.
Yeah, so the early access, it's here between a few days, between being early 7 days and then 2 days. As we keep on going on, we just see more examples here. I mean, here's even one €40 full, the full version of Diablo 4. And that really does show that they intend this, maybe like an Overwatch, to be overall running as a live service over time. Now, for some people, that could actually be a good thing. But the cost that you would have for that continued content development is obviously going to be an experience that is hampered by there being a store.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? You look at because obviously in the above image, you've got option B is €75, and that's just the game. Then you go down and the next page, option A is €40, that's just the game.
Yeah.
So that's them going for, well, if enough people say, oh yeah, I'd just like to take the straight up game, €75, Diablo 4, I don't want any of this shit. Then it doesn't matter how many people say option A, or option A on the other page, because obviously if people are going to buy it for €75, they'll buy it for €40. So that'll like kind of, that's where they're trying to get the numbers and showing people different like numbers to see how many people would buy to this, and is it enough for us to actually sell it at that? Because €75 is fairly aggressive.
Well, yeah,
but
like here's €110 to have an armor skin, a mount armor, a back ornament, €15 platinum, and the battle pass. As as one example, here's just a look at some of those. Oh, screen recording went. Here's just a look at some of those things as well. So you can see that is some of how they want to slice things up. Now that there's a pre-order that has some cosmetics, that's normal in the industry. It's been happening for a long time. Same goes for there being a premium currency and for there being a battle pass. Unfortunately, those are the industry norms now.
Yeah.
It's more the worry though that people have is after Immortal, and we don't think there's going to be any player power, that sort of thing done. But what if they were to do stash space or something like that? We cannot be sure. Given Immortal, you can't help but think if they could get away with it, they would. They know that people play Lost Ark. They know that people play PoE. Right, as an example. So if there is a currency, then that does mean that there is obviously going to be a store. The question is what's on that store.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing where you look at this and you go, well, this is stuff we're kind of all, I guess, accustomed to, which maybe 5 or 6 years ago would have been raging in some of this stuff. I mean, even like the fact that you go, oh yeah, mount armor is part of a pre-order bonus and a cosmetic that's for sale in the game. And no one bats an eyelid anymore.
Yeah, horse armor.
Because everyone's just like, yeah, well, Oblivion started that, and that's where this whole thing came from. Well, no one bats an eyelid when it used to be a point of outrage. So, like, we've definitely slid down the slope a decent bit here. But it is that kind of opening of, well, there's a battle pass, which is free and paid things. That's, because Diablo 3 didn't have one, because they weren't really a thing back then so much. And now it's like, well, that's now a whole element of game design and monetization and hang on, how is this game balanced around the battle pass as opposed to being balanced as a game in its own right? It's not like a whole conversation you have to have and go, oh shit. Same way it impacted Halo Infinite. They're like, well, are you supposed to play the game or are you supposed to grind the battle pass?
Log in.
Which, yeah.
Do your dailies.
Yeah, which
do
one
your
do you
weeklies.
Like,
do your monthlies.
Yeah, which
do your hourlies.
Never
Keep
ends.
playing.
Yeah,
do your
like,
secondlies.
Yeah, log into your other character and do them again.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that's a little bit, that's one thing that I see here and go, it was obvious, but it's still like, it's kind of a shame. But like you say, the platinum is just completely opening up, like, because you think, okay, platinum premium currency, sure, you could do you only buy premium currency and then you only buy cosmetics with it. that could be like, yeah, sure, that's fine. That's like whatever model. It's sure you probably shouldn't have cosmetics to full price game, but if it's live service, blah, 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 blah. But then you also have the question of, well, what if you earn platinum in game like you do in Diablo Immortal, like you do for a lot of these currencies where it's like not premium only because they've learned that premium only is actually a full divide. Whereas if you kind of blend the two, you have that blended experience.
You can up-convert people.
Yeah, you can up-convert people, or you can go, oh, well, you could earn your extra stash space in game if you play, because say the free battle pass probably has some platinum on it. And I go, oh, you could just earn the stash space in game, or you could get it day one if you pay a little bit of money, just in the platinum store. Or, well, considering these companies completely understand how to deal with PR these days, they'll unlock that like a week later. Like, hey, everyone, buy the game, and oh yeah, here's all the bad news. So that's one of the things, but that's just the kind of thing. That's nothing affects gameplay directly. They know that specifically. They've designed it that way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop them from sliding something in the platinum store and going, oh, you can earn it. You can earn it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We know you're not going to.
Yeah. I suppose the thing that what it comes down to me is, so with Diablo 3, it's like you buy the expansion, that's that. But they actually did, they do the seasonal content, and that's actually that feels pretty good. And you buy the expansion. Diablo 4 is not going to be that. I think it will have paid expansions and all that, and I'm totally fine with that. For me, though, this is obviously detrimental to the player experience. So what are we going to get in return for that? Because when I think about the cost, I think about a game called Destiny. I think about, say, even Warframe. People call it Fashion Frame. Now, for me, if those fashions are bought with money, then that's not, in a sense, it's not real, right? So my concern there is you can have a Destiny-like situation. If you're not aware, they changed how shaders worked in Destiny 2, all just to be, way better for monetization, making them consumable. That was like one of the changes they made at the start. And it rapidly became the case that if you were playing Fashion Destiny, that was a pretty deeply monetized experience and a clear downgrade over the first one. So I think it's kind of rough if you're in a situation where the really cool, shiny things that just look badass are bought rather than earned. Now, I suppose if they're on the battle pass, then they can be both. So there's, to me, a clear downside to this. What I would like to see in terms of an upside is how they make content. Because you could say, if Diablo 4 was to almost be a Guild Wars-like MMO, where there's no subscription fee, there's a paid expansion every 2 years or whatever, and there's continual content updates in between. If they do that, that's actually okay enough, because then you are actually getting the development of all of this patch content and stuff for you to do, paid for by it being monetized as a live service. It just actually, they have to deliver that content. So if they're going to do this, then I think part of the unspoken contract is that they absolutely deliver on free gameplay content. Will they do that or not? You could say that maybe with some of the acquisitions they've made, the massive headcount increases, that they are gearing up to actually deliver loads of post-launch content. But absolutely, if we're going to see this, I need to see a lot of post-launch content, and I need to see it being, being free.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that's interesting there is, I think I should maybe just mention that I know Destiny 2 has recently changed their shaders back to be non-consumable, stuff like that. And that's very much, hopefully, they're looking at this and going, or, because I imagine if you're making Diablo 4, you're looking at Destiny, because Destiny is just shooter Diablo. That's being very reductive, but, clearly it has those MMO inspirations, the Diablo inspirations, and all for all that loop. So hopefully they're looking at that and going, okay, well, we see how the winds are changing for player experience, so we'll actually adapt to that and make it kind of better for, people as Destiny players have experienced the uptick of that game is doing well. It is consistently successful with these changes, so that must be one of the reasons. But I think the thing to kind of get to the bottom of the free content and the monetization and what the kind of whole thing, because that's the thing, right? You look at the €110 version and you go, that's a lot of money for a game. Sure, you're getting some little bonuses like the €20 platinum or, the battle pass and stuff. And that's a tactic to just upsell you. This is technically better value, but you wouldn't have bought it anyway. So it's, just a bundle sale basically. But then you think, well, then all the monetization as well. You're thinking, well, I think people don't understand where their money's going anymore. Or maybe they do understand and it's not a nice answer. But it's that idea of, it used to be a fairly simple kind of concept and contract to understand of, hello, I'm going to buy your game. You put your money on the line to make the game, and now you've made it, and now I want it, and that'll fund you back for what you spent, and also it'll fund your next game because you're getting more than you spent back because it's a whatever expensive enough project or product. And then free to play came around. It's like, well, you can't just have a free game because someone needs paid at the end of the day. So then you monetize it through whatever means, and people go, okay, well, this is a little bit more open-ended monetization-wise. It allows for a greater range of distribution among who's been monetized, where it used to be everyone gave their $60 or whatever. Now it's like, well, someone gives 10, someone gives 200, someone gives nothing. And everyone kind of understood that, like, instinctively. Oh, yeah. This is maybe unfair to some people, more fair to others, but sure. But then we get into this realm of you're charging at the gate. You're charging for every attraction in the middle of the gate, almost like in a kind of weird theme park analogy. And you're just kind of charging at every step. It's like I think people are kind of feeling this with the cost of living, because there was a comic I saw, and it was someone saying how it feels to be alive now. They're just sitting in the park, and someone comes over and goes, that'll be $60, please. And just go, okay, sure, here you go. And like, what's that for? Or whatever. That's just like normalized now. You're charged at every single step. So I think people are kind of instinctively, and why people are kind of will be see this $110 and all this monetization and go, I'm angry for some reason. It's probably because it's just like, well, where's that money going? Why am I being charged 5 times for this one game? I was like, hopefully it does come in that form of free content. But then if they monetize an expansion, then people will be going, where the fuck's all our money going? And you could say, well, video games are more expensive. But the point is, the growth in audience is supposed to offset the growth in expensiveness. Not, oh, well, we'll just cater to half the people, double our budget, and then double the price. Because that's not what people want to do. They want to have that kind of, the whole thing spread across loads of people. Because no one's going to pay 200,000 quid for one game to be made just for them unless they're a billionaire. And even then, that'll be a bit daft. So I think that's the thing where like people just want to see, where's my money going? And everyone kind of feels it's going to shareholders, it's going to Bobby's yacht. That's always the joke. So that's one of the things we'll always have to contend with is just, man, why am I being charged 5 times for my one game?
Yeah.
What is going on?
It's that thing where, like, even the deeper monetization of World of Warcraft, that would have felt more okay to people if the patch cadence is where it should have been.
Yeah.
Because at least it's like, right, well, there's a new store amount, but also they just dropped a patch and there's going to be another one in 3 months.
Yeah,
like that would feel better than how it has felt recently.
Yeah, isn't that? Because I was talking about FF14 and the fact that they sell dies individually on the store and stuff. And everyone just kind of goes, yeah, 40-something quid for a mount is a little bit much, but it is a very good mount. And we know that our money is going back in development because they've said that the store is kind of, it is, Square Enix are basically allowed to do what they want with the store, but the point is the money has to go back to development. That's the caveat, that they're like, no, this is it. We're literally going, here's some cool stuff if you want to fund the development further, as opposed to this is going into Square Enix's coffers for them to spend on Babylon's Fall and I guess no longer spend on Crystal Dynamics and Eidos.
Well, I guess true or false,
Yeah.
that's the perception that's allowed them to do it, and
Exactly,
Blizzard
yeah.
have not fostered that perception. And for
Precisely.
some other examples here, Overwatch, man, some decently expensive price points, let's just say, are being floated for Overwatch skins. So this is a very similar survey to the one that we saw recently for Overwatch 2. Mythic skins, which are the ones that kind of like transform, $44.99 USD. Is that like the price of Overwatch 1?
I think that's actually more than Overwatch 1. That's more than Overwatch 2, I think. Because obviously it's free, but they sold is it the Watch Point pack, I think?
Yeah.
That came with the bid access and stuff.
So $44.99 for a mythic skin. Legendary skin, $25. Weapon charms, $10. Just a little dangly boy, $10 for that. And this one's absurd. 3 sprays for $5. Who is going to buy that? And then a bundle of emote, highlight, intro, souvenir stuff, $20. A bundle of a legendary skin, weapon charm, player icon, victory pose, voice line, name card / spray for $30. Wow, what a deal.
Yeah.
So these are fairly aggressive. Now, there is a big difference here. This is something that you could say would be more okay in Overwatch 2 because it's free.
Yeah, like I was saying, you kind of go, well, I haven't been charged twice for this. I've been charged once for it, so okay. That said, you would be charged twice if you bought the Watchpoint pack, which came with premium currency as a bundle to make it sweeter, but that's an aside, I think. But yeah, the point is basically that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right-ish.
Well, I like this tweet. Shaking a Zoomer by the shoulders and trying to convince them you used to be able to get the entire video game for the cost of a skin. That's right, Zoomers.
Yeah.
We had it better than you. Sorry.
Did you know a pack of 5 used to be 5p? Did you know a bottle of Coke used to be 70p?
Freddo bar used to be 10p.
Yeah, I think
I remember the first time a bottle of Coke was a pound.
Same.
I was completely aghast at it.
No, it's 185.
185 for a Coke used to be 75p.
Sorry, no, it's 185 for a Diet Coke. It's over 190 for a Coke because of the sugar tax.
Pog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all rather wonderful.
How much have wages grown?
Yes. Oh, jeez. So that's basically the situation there with Overwatch. Now, we've also seen this in the past as an example, the way that we learned about the Dark Portal Pass pricing, the Burning Crusade Classic Character Clone Service. Those things were all coming out in these surveys. And I think for the Character Clone, we saw multiple price points being targeted by that survey, and they went for one of the higher ones.
Yeah.
Which is then kind of rough considering that the servers that those characters, the clone characters were on, the Classic Era servers, are, like, to call them dead would almost be an understatement. So for how the game actually panned out, Blizzard basically just fleeced everyone who used those. Now, you could also say that Blizzard maybe did not expect the Classic Era servers to die a death in the way that they did, but ultimately that's a pretty rough time for the people who purchased that. Basically, all that they purchased is a little time capsule to their character.
Yep. And that's the thing where you kind of look, well, this is where you can see how close these surveys, and obviously it depends on the individual responses, because the responses to the Diablo or Overwatch surveys could be very different to the Classic Era ones and the cloning ones. But it is that idea of like, because Blizzard were speaking to PC Games and about the Overwatch survey, and they said it's entirely intended to better understand player preferences for different types of cosmetics. The prices displayed in the survey are randomized per user and not indicative final pricing. So they are doing a scatter shot and seeing where all of the opinion lies, and that's where they're kind of going. Clearly, maybe we're all wrong, and there's loads of respondents who are saying, yeah, I'll fucking pay $45 for a skin, not a worry in hell, which I sort of doubt that. But I imagine it's a case of they will push it. They will find a line that's like, is this a little bit above what most people say they'll pay? Because they'll probably pay that, because you imagine people will under-respond in a survey, because the person who's responding to the survey is not the person buying, because you're in two different modes of thinking when you're buying. Yeah. You're responding to the survey, you're thinking, I would never pay $30, $40 for a skin. And then you see the shiny skin in store and go, I really like that. I would look really cool wearing that in game. I would be able to flex and whatever other Zoomer terminology they use in Overwatch these days. I would be totally bussing for real, no cap, whatever they say, and buy the skin because it's like the emotional driven stuff. So it's clear they're just kind of going for all of this, and we should probably look at like the upper maybe 75% of like what the price is, because the character clone was floated up to, it was from $10 to $40, not to $35. So if that's the same for these skins, we could be looking at that kind of $30 bundle easy. The mythic skins could maybe be the $30 to $40 range, and all of the stuff in Diablo. That looks like final enough pricing to me. So basically,
like when I look at Diablo Immortal, it's 1,500 orbs, which is like around $20 if memory serves. Now the thing about this is like, look, if you undershoot on your RRP, then that really limits your ability to do future sale events. Yeah. Right? So what you want to do is you want to get as many sales at the highest price point possible before you start, doing discounts and events and sales and that kind of thing. So it is interesting with these surveys. Generally, they'll try to go as high as they can reasonably, go. You will see a lot of variance, though, in the price that are in these surveys. Here's a really good example for World of Warcraft. So for WoW Classic, for the character cloning service, the surveys went between $9.99 and $39.99. Here's an example of it showing $29.99, and the ultimate price that Blizzard went for was $35.99. Is that the one, though, that shortly after launch they slashed the price of?
I think they were forced to slash the price of that a little bit because it was it was on pushback and a little bit of undertaking. But then there was, despite pushback, they didn't cut the price of the Dark Portal Pass, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
Because the Dark Portal Pass was the boost that everyone was like, this destroys the entire point of Classic if you put this in. And they went, but it'll turn our free product into a box price product for $50, $60, $50, was it? Around that, there you go. So it's a case of, that seems to me like they were aiming high went too high, missed, and then pulled it back a little bit, as opposed to, because that was a pretty niche service overall, more niche than they expected. But when it comes to something like because you can immediately see the value looking at the Diablo 4 bundles. You can see all of the actual value in the sense that €20 of platinum, for the 80, that's definitely going to be underpriced. That's aiming really low. But you look at, say, there's the €110 option C in the second page that says €15 of platinum, battle pass, game, all skins. €110, that kind of lines up with like their Dragonflight pricing for stuff.
Yeah.
And how they're aiming for those things. So you can see the value there. There will be people buy that. You can just immediately, of course, people buy that. They're not, like, there'll be skeptical people for sure. But I think most people who are like actually excited about Diablo will go in saying, I'm definitely going to give this a full go. I'm definitely going to take the battle pass. And I'll take that for a spin because this is the biggest Diablo gaming event since Diablo Immortal. Or however they're going to frame it internally to kind of make it feel like a big event. So that's the kind of thing of, I think the character clone was an overshoot. I don't think any of the rest of these will be an overshoot. Especially for Overwatch, I imagine these kind of surveys will be, you look at the higher end, that's what we'll get. Because it's free to play. So people go, oh, sure, yeah. I'll absolutely take that. But Diablo will be free to play. Except it's not. Because that's the way it's monetized, that's the way it's framed. That's the way like you say, that's the way the content will flow, hopefully. But with all of their promises recently about like actually getting content right and understanding they have to do a live service, they don't really have an option to just go, hey, we've made it. And I guess that's the thing. With Diablo 4 taking so long, there's at least hope that they are setting the foundation to actually make content instead of rushing it out the door and then going, have we forgotten something? Oh yes, the post-release content pipeline. Shit, we better get started on that. I imagine they'll have all of that like lined up properly well ahead of launch with all of their new developers. It's just going to be, you're going to be charged at the ass for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're not going to because maybe you have the self-control to go, I don't want a cosmetic or I don't want a battle pass or I know I'm being upsold on platinum that they're saying has this value, but to me, it's not, I wouldn't buy it by itself, so it has less value. And then you don't get upsold and then you get a decent gaming experience for a decent price.
I think what matters the most is pay for convenience, and that does not make it in. Yeah. That we do not see stash space or any simple thing like that. Now, it's not what I would expect, given that unlike PoE, this is a fully priced premium game. If we were to see paid stash space, that would be serious alarm bells. On balance, I don't anticipate that we will.
No.
But the fear is justifiable, I think. So that is the situation anyway with Diablo 4, with this kind of leaked thing, and as well as just the context of how these things actually roll. Really, for now, we just need to wait and see. The Friends and Family Alpha is out. Somebody actually leaked a screenshot, so no doubt somebody's gotten a lot of trouble over that. But if the Friends and Family Alpha is currently going, then I think that does mean we'll see some form of beta. Well, actually, that'll be a big question. Do we get a public beta? Don't really know. Blizzard tend to do that sort of thing. So we might actually see more of this game pretty damn soon.
Yeah, I don't think they're sold on if they'll do a beta or not. For the reason that if you look at the surveys here, there's the early access on 2 of them, but there's one that's early access and the translation says open beta 2 days. So they might do, I think they maybe just aren't sure if they're going to do one yet. It would make sense to drum up hype, but at the same time, it feels like getting that game fresh completely, no one's played it before, might be really strong. Depends on if they need the time or they want the player data in.
Yeah.
That's the thing, they're very, very big on player data. Obviously, they've done all the Overwatch betas, they've done the Warcraft betas. Of course, they're going to like lean towards that by default. But you'll have to kind of wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess we'll have plenty of it, but we'll have to wait until probably after the Overwatch 2 and Dragonflight cycle. So we're probably looking at maybe Q1, Q2 next year before we get a big, it's Diablo time, everybody, kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. There you go. D4. That's what's going on. Let's hope they have a lot of free content to justify the existence of this store, and that it's not a Halo Infinite-like situation where there's a whole bunch of store content and not exactly the actual game content to back it up. So let me know what you think. We'll see you next time.